new era of information gathering. We say it's a true, drop my glasses there, true journalistic. We're getting to real stories, showing you exactly what's happening. Behind me there is the Capitol. Yes, we were there on January 6th, providing the coverage of the speech and everything else around that event. Very different scene here now. But I will say this, as you can see, we've got these 9-foot fences that are still up. Those were put up prior to the events on the 6th. You've got the concrete barriers as well that run the perimeter here. Now we see if we can go across the street and we'll walk along there. Let's see if we got the sidewalk's closed. I think the sidewalk is closed. Okay, so maybe we just go down, Joe, we'll walk straight and we'll go to the next corner, and then Brooke will join us there. As always, we appreciate everyone's support throughout this whole process. It's been a very different year for Right Side Broadcasting. You know, we were the leader in live Trump events, and we really own that whole sector. But now we're moving to adding some different shows, and we'll talk about Made in America here in just one moment as well, because that was tremendously successful, and we love expanding our programming, especially with the apps that we are coming out with as well. So we're going to jump across here. We'll go the street, Joe, straight ahead. We'll make a left at the stoplight, and we'll get a kind of a better perspective of what it's like from the front of the Capitol. And I'm going to take you on a journey. We're going to go down Pennsylvania Avenue and kind of give you a look at the businesses along Pennsylvania Avenue. Then we'll go to Freedom Plaza. I know during the election season, Freedom Plaza was really, ground zero for all the events, the rallies, all the gatherings for the Trump flag waving events and things like that. So we'll check that out. I'm sure that looks a little different right now. Also, I'm imagine that the BLM Plaza may look a little different now. I know during the election season, it was very energized, very charged, very emotional. Of course, a lot of it was geared towards the president and really the dislike for him. I don't know if that's still the scene there. They may have another agenda that they're promoting. But we're glad you're joining us. Brian Glenn here, live Washington, D.C., giving you a tour of D.C. and what it looks like today. And we're trying to find out what the hell is going on in this city and why we still have all these barricades up. Why do we have the National Guard here? Now, obviously, from just first glance, it doesn't seem like near the numbers we had before. We all know what we had before. It seemed like it was almost a war zone at certain points. Dozens gathered on street corners. Here we got a couple officers here on this corner of First and Constitution. And we'll make our way across the street, and then we'll be joined by Brooke Sands of 9 Line Apparel. Of course, they're a great partner of ours as well, and we'll talk to her. We'll kind of recap the show yesterday, and we'll get her perspective on what exactly is going on in this city. And she lives here, and she has to go through all of the, the protests. And of course, this is very, Washington D.C. has always been a very energized and emotional city. It's activism. This is where policy is made. This is where people's voices and opinions are heard from opposition sides. And so this is something that this city's always been like that, but it's never ever been like that since this past election and what's going on right now. So we certainly want to bring all that to you. And don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms as well. At RSBN, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course on YouTube. And then we have a new app coming out very, very soon, and we'll be able to stream programs from that, which is awesome. We got some new programming coming out that will be exclusive, so we can't wait to show all of that to you. So thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon. This will go about an hour and 10-15 minutes. We'll bring this to you as we walk down. And okay, so now we're going across First Street and the crossing Constitution, and we'll get right here in front, and then Brooke Sands will join us to talk about that. As always, security on a normal time is always pretty high here because this is, obviously a very important landmark here in our country. And so it's something that is, I would think, always on high alert, but now more than ever. That's a great shot there, and this is pretty much what it was like back in January. The perspective, these black fences that were erected all around the city, and a lot of times they would do it in the middle of the night. Joe, let's go ahead and walk across here. All right, joining me now is Brooke Sands. She is with 9 Line Apparel, and you guys, before we get to all of the rest of the tour, you guys you really have made, you know, your whole company's built on patriotism. Your whole company's built on the love of this country.
Absolutely, 1,000%. First of all, I have to say, welcome back to the swamp. It is a huge difference between Savannah, and you know, people are running around free and happy back in Savannah, and here everybody's masked up.
Yeah, Savannah was nice, actually. I was talking to my Uber driver about it, and he's like, look, it opened up around St. Patrick's Day, and people were back in that city, and they are loving it, and they're going down along the river or around the port there and enjoying themselves. But it's a very different scene here, and you and I have talked before about what it's like, the vibe here in D.C., because during the election, after the election, with all the COVID restrictions, it's almost like it's walking zombies here. The attitude is very disconnected. People don't want to walk near you. They want to walk across the street if they see you not, you know, even if you have a red shirt on, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Even standing in the elevator, people won't get on the elevator with you, and it's, you know, it's disappointing. We've lost our sense of community.
We have completely lost that. Okay, let's go ahead and walk in from the Capitol. We'll give you a great look of what that looks like. Okay, so tell me what your day, when you drive around the city, I mean, I said this earlier, the streets are open now, the traffic's flowing at least.
Streets are open. I will say, I used to use the metro actually quite a bit, and I haven't ventured back down there too much, but the few times that I have, just in the last few weeks, it's empty. It's like a ghost town down there, which is really bizarre because obviously, you know, during rush hour, normal business hours, you can barely find a seat on there, but now it's like a ghost town, and even, you know, regular business hours are pretty quiet. So people are working from home still and not really getting out too much.
I've noticed a lot of apartments walking around here. Maybe we'll see it a little bit later, Brooke, that were a lot of for lease apartments. I mean, a lot of people have moved out of the city. I mean, with the restrictions, they've lost their job. They've got relocated. Maybe they've had to downsize their life a little bit.
Not to mention all the commercial space that's sitting vacant. So, yeah.
Okay, so here's a good shot at right in front of our nation's capital. I remember on the 6th coming right up through here. Of course, there weren't any barriers at that particular time. The military presence here has changed. Can we both agree, not near the amount we had before?
Nowhere near. No, this is pretty sparse, but I do think it's in the thousands still.
Still in the thousands. I think I'd read that earlier today. But here's my point as well. Okay, we've got fences, but why do we need even these fences? Like, there's no credible threat or a need to put up these fences, but the Capitol is still at this point very much of a lockdown place.
Absolutely. And a little bit off the beaten path from DC proper is the Pentagon, which is also completely fenced off. They've got razor wire around the tops of the fences at the Pentagon, which, you know, there's not really been any sort of threat there. But I mean, I'd be curious actually to talk to the National Guard and see if they even, I don't know if we can, or if
some guys over there, or we could.
I don't know if they even know.
Yeah, they may not know why they're here.
They're on orders, of course. You can't really question that.
Let's turn the camera on there. We got some gentlemen that's walking out right now. I remember when they first started building up the troops here, and it seemed like every day there were more and more buses pulling up, and they would all get off the buses and check into the hotels. And of course, a lot of times they were being criticized. These troops were actually sleeping in underground parking garages like that. You know, and that's a whole nother debate there. But yeah, why are they still here? Like, I don't understand the threat.
Yeah, it's definitely quiet around here. I mean, at least from, you know, law-abiding citizens, I would say crime and, you know, just regular old crime, you know, carjackings and
Yeah, all the stuff that's related to a big city. I mean, we spend our time in Philadelphia and some other cities, and the crime is there. It's just it's built in. There are descendants of people who break the law. It is quiet right now, and I don't know if you see a lot of tourists. I know we've got some beautiful flowers. I mean, if you want to show this, hey, if you're into flowers right now, this is the place to be. I mean, this is not a plant show here, folks, but I'm going to tell you right now, it is beautiful here in our nation's capital, and this is, I guess in a way, Brooke, this is the beauty of this part of the country and this city. If we could just take the swamp out of the city, then this might be a very beautiful place. But yeah, it looks nice here. I don't particularly know what some of these streets are, but I'm not going to pretend to know them. But it is a beautiful place here. But that's actually, contrast to that. I mean, these 9-foot fences that are put up around the Capitol. No one can seem to understand. Like, when are they coming down? Like, when is it time to open up the Capitol and start to allow people to come? Look at that beautiful grassy area there. I remember coming out here before Christmas. Brooke, that beautiful Christmas tree there. You can go up and take your picture. You can put an ornament. I mean, it was all kinds of stuff. Can't do that now. You cannot enjoy the nation's capital. This is supposed to be a place where people can gather, people can celebrate our freedom and liberty, but nope. Can't do that.
And spring break, is going on. This has always been such a huge destination for school trips and, families coming to visit the nation's capital. And, this is a huge deal to come here. People save up. And
that's a great point about spring break, Brooke. Did you see an increase of traffic here during that time? I mean, is this a place where people go, hey, kids, load up the car, let's drive to the nation's capital?
I wouldn't say as much now, but over the last 2 weeks with the Cherry Blossom Festival, we did have a pretty big turnout of people come for that. But as far as what a normal springtime looks like, I would say it's dead.
Yeah, it's pretty dead. And it's really misfortunate because I do remember, this was a place that there's so much to celebrate in this city. There's so much to celebrate here. And I just don't think you're able to do that now. I mean, what is this? If you're watching us from, say you're in Canada, you're somewhere in Europe, and you think of this country as being free and open and liberty, and we've got all these God-given rights, but yet behind us are fences and barriers, that prevent us from really having access to some of the buildings that's supposed to be for the people.
Yeah, and the museums that are such a draw, and it's the main historical city that we have here, and we can't even enjoy it.
Yeah, let's go walk across this parking lot here. This is a beautiful, excuse me, but if I don't know the exact name for that, I think it's just the pond right here, the reflection pond here in front of the Capitol. Beautiful place, of course, a great place to come out and take pictures and with the family. And we saw that, during the election season as well. We saw people still coming out here, even though it was ice cold. They still came out here and enjoyed it. That's a great shot to the left, Joe. That's a great shot. And then I remember walking and enjoying this view several times there. There was a lot of construction, if you remember, for the inauguration on the sides. They put up the bleachers and kind of made that expanded area that wasn't previously for the 2016 inauguration, but it was done for the 2020 inauguration. But yeah, I mean, this is the scene here. So if we can wrap up the Capitol, and in a couple sentences, we can say this. It's here. You still got a fence up. We still have some National Guardsmen, not as much as we had before, but they are still there. And I bet you nailed it on the head, Brooke. If we went to ask them, why are you still here? I can understand having some Capitol Police. I get it. I really do. I really get it. We have to have protection, right?
Absolutely.
But to the level that we have here, I don't think it's justified.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like the January 6th story has kind of been blown out of proportion and, taken on a little too long. So it's time to fold that one up, put it away.
And there was always these conspiracies that it was going to rejoin itself later and it was going to happen again. And and it was just all these nonsense. It was just people sitting behind their computers at home, just trolling and just trying to stir something up. But that's, obviously nothing like that has happened. Beautiful shot though. Look at this. This is what it's all about in our nation's capital. It's people getting out, enjoying themselves. I want to ask you too. We'll walk down. This is Pennsylvania Avenue here, so we'll walk down Pennsylvania. You can see Trump Hotel straight ahead. That beautiful, iconic tower there, which is just awesome. I mean, when you come to D.C. though, it's one of those things where you got to go to Trump. You got to go to Trump Tower, Trump International, I should say.
Yep, known to us locals as America's living room.
Is that how you guys refer to it?
Yep, America's living room. So you've got to swing by.
Yeah. And when we go by, maybe they'll let us inside. I don't know if they will. I know when we were here before, they told us that you had to be a guest and it was super secure. But maybe things have. Hey, maybe add that to the list of questions. Can you get in the Trump Hotel and have a cold beer right now? Can you have a great cup of coffee in the morning, which I used to do quite often here. But anyway, so we're glad you're joining us. Hey, we are live here in Washington, D.C. For D.C. Revisited, and we're entitled this, What the Hell is Going On with This City? Where hopefully we can get some answers and show you exactly what's going on. This is unfiltered, unedited, we're unrehearsed. As you can see, this is how we do it here. We just walk and talk, and we just want to bring this to you as raw and as real as possible. Brooke Sands joining me from 9 Line Apparel, and coming up at Freedom Plaza, Alexandria Lanes will join us as well to talk about her perspective of living here in D.C. She is an influencer. You might go notice her on Instagram. She's hilarious as far as always got to have a hot take.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is one thing that I feel like really will catch some fire on the internet, is have a hot take on a topic and go in like a verbal sniper is what I call her.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the activists. A panel van there that says, "End Trump's assault on press freedom." Okay, I don't even know what to make of that, because Trump was the most transparent president I think we've ever had. That man would walk out in front of the press unrehearsed, unscheduled, likely 10 minutes a heads up on a lot of this stuff, and would take questions from the press. But for some reason, why is there an assault on free press?
I have no idea. And I kind of have to wonder, what glasses are these people watching the news with? If you want to call it news.
You want to call it news. No, you're absolutely right on that. And I think the lens of the hate Trump, regardless of whatever the narrative is, whatever people say you should think, even you're being intellectually dishonest with yourself when you deny it's everywhere. Because I'm based out of Dallas area, and trust me, it's there in Dallas. There hadn't been a city that we've been in that hasn't had type of a homeless situation. So we're glad you're joining us. So we are live here in DC, bringing you all of the events here, keeping it as unfiltered as we see it, because we do get asked from time to time, what in the heck is going on in DC? Are the troops still there? What's the vibe like? You know what I don't see, Brooke, is a lot of American flags. And I even know that even during the election season, these light poles, stop right here, Joe, give me a shot of that light pole. Up there, during the Trump administration, every single light pole up and down this street had an American flag on it. And even during the election, the DC flag was on there. And I didn't even know DC had its own flag. So my ignorance, and I apologize for that, I didn't know what it was. But you don't see that here. Matter of fact, I'm seeing the Canadian, their national flag, and of course, in their defense, it's on their embassy. But I don't see any American flag. Before you see an American flag, you see a Canadian flag. I mean, let's think about this for a second. How far do we have to go before we see an American flag?
We might have to leave DC.
We have to leave DC. All right, let's keep walking there and going. Okay, we will show this. It's a beautiful museums here. And it looks like none of these are boarded up, Brooke. I know there was a gate to our left here along this at one point. So that it looks like the fence is down here. But, I don't know if they're open. Do you know if they're open?
From what I understand, the majority of the museums are operating on limited hours.
Okay.
So maybe just a Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Or maybe one weeknight or something like that. But just I'm assuming it's all pandemic related.
Yeah, I would imagine as well. If you're just now joining us, I know we've had some technical issues, and I apologize for that. We have some satellite issues. It's not on our end. I want to make very, very clear with that. It is our satellite provider is having some glitches. So we apologize if it glitched out and it's back on, but we are live in DC. We call it DC Revisited, and taking you a tour down Pennsylvania Avenue. We just left the Capitol area and kind of showed you what that was all about. We do have some troops there. We do have a fence up. It's still there. There is a reduction, I can say, in the amount of troops that they're in front of the Capitol, but they're still there. And so my question still remains, why are they still there? Why is the fence still there? There's no threat. The Biden administration, you're in office. You've put your policies in place. You've silenced conservatives across the board on social media. There are certain things that if I said right now would shut us down. You've done your best to silence conservatives. Now drop the fences, let the troops go home to their families, and let's get back to normal life here at our nation's capital. All right, so to our right is the Canadian Embassy there. Beautiful building. Got the flag out. That's good. Must be a fan of RSBN. I don't know.
We've got a sleeper right out front here, right outside their front door.
Okay, I will say this: the tent you see there and the guy sleeping on the floor, I've seen those guys here before. I think that's probably a spot. And I'm still amazed. I know that California deals with this, San Francisco, how they allow the homeless to just camp out wherever they feel like it's time to camp out.
Yeah. Even in Georgetown, I never really saw homeless encampments, and all through Georgetown now, it's all over the place.
3:39 here locally. A lot of people, I would imagine, getting off work right now, leaving this area and going home for the weekend. So we might see a little bit more traffic as we walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. Right now we're headed towards Freedom Plaza, and we're going to walk by America's Living Room. Is that what you said?
Yeah, America's Living Room.
What a beautiful hotel that is, and he's done so much amazing work to, it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was a post office,
Yes,
right?
Yep, it was the post office. And I think they renovated it in, was it 2011?
No, he's done a phenomenal job with that. But I will say this. Okay, I'll give DC some credit. Let's stop here for a second. Show the grounds. I don't see trash. I don't see litter. I don't see some of the things that we saw a lot during the transitional days between the election and the inauguration. I will say that. It maybe we'll get into it more. I don't know. That's a great shot down Pennsylvania too. You know, there's our locator there. Pennsylvania Avenue, we're in the 400 block, and then we turn to the right, you'll see a great shot of the Capitol behind us. I mean, can we do that? Like, I don't see a lot of trash.
Yeah, no, we'll give them that.
Well, at least we don't see it here.
Yeah.
We might see it later on, but I'll say that's an issue. All right, we're gonna keep walking and talking. That's what we do, and we're glad you're joining us and share this broadcast. You know, I think I should do a broadcast on text censorship, because in a way, for platforms that we have well over 1 million followers, well over 1 million subscribers, when we launch a live segment, we do not get the views that we have historically gotten across our platform. So we really need your help to help push this message out and push it to get to as many people as possible and get views on it. We certainly appreciate that. And we, of course, appreciate our partner over at MyPillow. Mike Lindell is a true patriot. He is out fighting for conservative values. He's fighting for his faith. He's fighting for your liberty. And there's one way that you can help him. Go to mypillow.com and put in the promo code RSBN at checkout and get up to 66% off your entire order. And I don't know about you, Brooke, but I love my pillow travel pillow, because I've been on about 30-something flights in the last couple months, and I enjoy it.
I've got my eyes on some sheets.
The Giza Dream Sheets. And Joe, is our camera guy, is shaking his head yes, because he wants some Giza Dream Sheets as well. So if you go on the website, mypillow.com, put in the promo code RSBN at checkout, and you'll get up to 66% off. Oh, my goodness. Breaking news here, Joe. We have an American flag. that is out front of, I don't know this building. It is that's the FTC. This is the Federal Trade Commission building. This is where if you have a trade, a patent for an invention, a product, a business, I would imagine that patent is on file right here at the Federal Trade Commission. So what a beautiful building this is. And I've always admired the architecture of DC. I mean, let's be honest. This place has some amazing buildings.
Oh, yeah. They're gorgeous. The European designs all infused with our own little American flair.
American flair. And good to them, they have a flag out front, which is nice to see. We'll talk about people walking around. I mean, we still see, obviously you don't see near the crowds that you would do normally, but you've seen some tourists walking around, and they've got their mask on. I don't know, is it a requirement to have a mask on right now in DC? Do you know that?
Not that I know of. Not on public property, but supposedly federal property.
Okay, so maybe if you're on federal property, you got to have a mask. So maybe they don't. I'm hoping I don't get put in cuffs later for walking around with no mask. But you and I both. That's not the way I want to spend my Friday. No. All right. So so we're walking down Pennsylvania Avenue. We're headed towards Freedom Plaza, and then I think once we go, I guess it would be west of Freedom Plaza, if I'm got my directions correctly. That's when things start to get. You see more of the buildings that are boarded up. You see more of what we did before. We'll walk by our old apartment and we'll check it out, see what that looks like. But then we're going to go by BLM Plaza. I don't know what that looks like right now. And then we'll end up at the White House. I can only imagine that the security at the White House is still pretty tight. I would think so. Are we going to try to make this light? I was just instructed, ladies and gentlemen, that we have 8 seconds to cross this walking path here. And our camera guy said, you know what? We're making it. We're going to make this walk. We're going for it. And you know, it's interesting getting around the city. When we were here, we used these coming up on our left. We use these little razors, these little birds and stuff. Good way to get around town. There you go. All right. So here we go. So now another beautiful building here. I don't know this one. Do you know? This is like the DC landmark quiz show here. I was going to say FBI, but that's not it either. We'll find out up here in a second. Once again, look at the flowers again. Maybe we should just turn this into the flower show. National Archives. I believe that's what it is. I think so. Of course, we got some sirens behind us, so it might get loud here in a second. What a beautiful, beautiful building. Archives of the United States. That's exactly what it is. You've got 10 points, Brooke, and you have control of the board here, the game show. But look at these flowers, Joe, just for a second. I mean, my goodness. Slap your grandmother right now. Look at these flowers. You have got to be kidding me. Absolutely beautiful. And it's all around here. And, of course, I would imagine if there's a place for a selfie, it's right here in front of the Archives of the United States. But beautiful building, beautiful flowers. And so far, I'm just being honest and transparent. The place is pretty clean. Very clean. Now, obviously, I'm not very happy with the troops being at the Capitol building right now, but that's a whole nother issue right now. All right, so now we are walking, still headed towards Trump International. Making news, there's some news headlines real quickly. Gun regulations. Looks like Biden is trying to put a lot of restrictions on your guns.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. To most of us, no, thank you.
Yeah. Not sure where rewriting the Constitution came into play in his election bid.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Apparently, he's got the magical pen that he can just rewrite anything and edit the Constitution as he wants. But I will tell you this: if you want to see a major protest in this country, try taking away our guns, our God-given rights. And I just saw that the state of Tennessee made it now where you can now carry without a permit, I believe, right?
I believe so.
Constitutional carry. Yeah. Constitutional carry. It's concealed or open. I know that it excludes long rifles. I think it does not permit long rifles, but it does with handguns.
Makes sense.
It does make sense. You know what? It's funny that you think about a gun-free zone in some of these places in our country that are gun-free zones.
Yeah.
And then the most dangerous high-crime areas in the country. Chicago, gun-free zone, high crime. Los Angeles, gun-free zone, high crime.
Yeah. The criminals don't seem to care about that.
Do you think a criminal really cares about the law?
No.
They're
Nope.
criminals. That's what they don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got that making the news. Plus immigration, if you missed the earlier in this broadcast, we'll be back down in South Texas coming up in a couple of weeks, going to McAllen. We'll give you more information as we get it, but it was an eye-opening experience when we were down there.
I hear friends and family that live down in Arizona, they're just inundated and they can't get over the amount of people flowing in to their neighborhoods.
And it's so sad. These kids that are just been let off to go with these coyotes out and cross hundreds of miles.
It's heartbreaking. Yeah.
And imagine, just put yourself in their place, going across the country, and you're scared and you're isolated, and I've heard horrible stats on the amount of rapes that are going on. I want to say that was like 1 in 19 are raped. Don't quote me on that, but it was a very, very high number, and it's sad. It's sad, and so it should not be, and it should not be. And I know that I saw that the president of El Salvador turned down a call with Vice President Harris. He refused to talk to her, and because I think he knows that nothing will get accomplished anyway if he talks to her. So,
well, it's not like our vice president, who is the border czar, has been to the border. She's all over.
She's all over. Fox News had a great graphic of her flights the last 2 weeks, and she has probably burned more miles up than we have at Right Side Broadcasting. She's all over the country and says she doesn't have time, and she'll go to a bake sale to promote vaccinations or one of these events, but she can't go down to the border for herself because she's in charge of the border crisis. She can't do that. But she can go to a bake sale, or she can go, to some event that is obviously not a priority in our nation's capital or in our country right now.
Yeah, it's disheartening. We definitely need a border wall, border security, and it's kind of interesting to see everyone doubling back now that, oh yeah, maybe we'll revisit that idea.
Yeah, we'll visit all that idea. Hey, we want to thank our partner over at mypillow.com. MyPillow, I can't pretty much say this enough. It's time for us to fight back cancel culture and do it with your wallet. Just do it with your wallet. Go to the website, mypillow.com, put in the promo code RSBN at checkout and get up to 66% off, and a little bit we'll talk about 9-line apparel too, because you get a good discount there too. But go check it out. Giza sheets, get those slippers. I don't know about you, but when you get up in the morning, Brooke, and you wake up and you go in the kitchen, you make your coffee, because I know I follow you on Instagram. By the way, before we get started, your Instagram account, because I'm going to get into these slippers.
At Brooke J Sands, BROOKE J Sands.
Okay. Okay, so when you get up in the morning and you go get your coffee, isn't it nice to put on a nice, comfortable pair of slippers?
I love some slippers. I'm in house slippers all day.
Guess what? Mike Lindell has spent so much time on developing these slippers, and I'm telling you right now, they are so good. I wish I had them on right now as I walk up and down Pennsylvania Avenue. But go check it out, mypillow.com. Put in the promo code RSBN at checkout and get up to 66% off. And buy yourself a pair of slippers, buy yourself a pillow. And of course, if you go to the website, there's a whole store there. You can buy all kinds of stuff there. So if you want, you can shop away. Just put in that promo code RSBN at checkout, because guess what? A portion of those proceeds goes right back to help us do what we're doing right now. Going out and showing you all of this, showing you the city, showing you the stories that are making a difference. And you turn on any of the mainstream media right now, they're not walking the city like we are. They're not showing you what the developments of what's going on, but we are. So you can help us. Go buy a pillow, help conservative values. So anyway, if you're just now joining us, we are live. We are walking down Pennsylvania Avenue towards Freedom Plaza. We'll go by BLM Plaza as well, and we'll end it at the White House. Alexandria Lanes will join us here shortly. Okay, so we're coming up on what?
The Trump Hotel. America's living room.
Is it not one of the nicest entryways of any hotel here in Washington?
It absolutely is. It's a monument.
It is. Of course, there's a in Trump's assault on freedom, press freedom. I still can't figure that sign out. Maybe they were not thinking clearly when they put that sign up there.
They forgot that Trump was the one that got banned on Twitter.
Good point there. Trump's the one that opens up the press. He's the one that says, hey, ask me a question. I'm here. And I don't need a teleprompter. And I don't need a notebook. I don't need like some Pictionary game that has pictures and bylines and questions. I don't need any of that. I'll answer your question. All right. Trump International Hotel. What a beautiful, beautiful hotel that is. And I don't know if we can go in, but I'm going to try.
It's always worth a try.
It's always worth a try. I'm going to wait till this guy talks here. All right, I just asked the gentleman if we were allowed to go inside. He said no. I tried, though. But look at that shot right there, Joe. Pan up a little bit. Wow.
Big
impressive.
American flags.
It's one of those things where there's no confusion of who owns this hotel. Well, who owns it and controls the total theme of this hotel. I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. Very proud. And not to mention the giant American flag on the inside, right above the bar. It's beautiful.
I wish I could go in there right now, but I tried, and he said no. And all due respect, I'm going to listen to what he says because I don't want to upset anybody there. But yeah, it's beautiful. Now, we'll note, I have not seen this patio open at all, even before everything was shut down. So I don't know. Was this the scene at one point, this patio here?
Actually, I've never seen the tables out here, so it could be new. I don't know. Maybe they're doing that as outside dining.
Yeah, outside dining. Okay, so while we have a chance, let's turn around here. I want you to tell us about 9 Line Apparel. Yesterday, we spent some time at the factory there, printing the shirts up in Savannah. Amanda Tatum, our host, did a phenomenal job of walking around and showing that place. But let's talk about what 9 Line means.
9 Line is just the American spirit, from the garage that they started out of to, Tyler building this business in between deployments. It really is the American dream, and spreading that pride to every customer that buys a shirt, and the people that he employs, and and kind of that sense of community too. You're driving down the street and you see somebody with a 9 Line sticker. You're like, okay, I know that person loves America.
I get you. You love America. I see you.
Yeah.
I see you.
Yeah.
And, okay, so the designs that he has, the most popular ones, and of course you can go to the website right now, 9lineapparel.com. You can check out everything, but let's name drop a couple. Amanda Tatum, if you follow her on Instagram, the host of Made America, she has a hat that she said, go buy this hat, put in the promo code RSBN, and you get 20% off. But what are some of your favorite designs?
Ooh, that's a tough question. One of my favorites is the 5 things. That's that t-shirt that has the flag, faith, family, firearms. Let's see, am I missing one? I think I'm missing one, but yeah. you get the deal.
I like the round of ISIS. It's got a bullet. It said, this round is for ISIS. Yes. That'll probably get me some hate on that too.
Yeah.
But just some great stuff. But the classic black hat with 9 Line logos.
Oh yeah, all about the hats. I've got a good collection.
So go check it out, 9lineapparel.com, and don't forget to put that promo code RSBN at checkout, and you'll get you'll get 20% off. Yep. You'll get 20% off your entire order. So stock up. I know personally yesterday, was it $8? It's a bunch of money, right? We bought a lot of stuff yesterday. All right, we took advantage of the promo code. We bought hundreds and hundreds of dollars of stuff yesterday, and we're proud to do it because we love this company and we love what you guys stand for, and we just want to support you guys, and we want you to support them, because when you do that, you support us. It's that simple. So go to 9lineapparel.com and put that promo code RSBN at checkout and get 20% off. I'm going to go shopping later for sure. You guys look, I like whiskey. I like sipping whiskey.
I know, yeah.
Okay, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, is it bullet encased? I don't even know what you call it.
It's a bullet that's encased in a glass.
Yeah, it's like glass blown. They're handmade in the U.S. I believe the company's out of North Carolina, but they actually have 2 different designs, I think, right now. One is with the bullet and one is with a fishing hook.
Yeah.
So you got both sides. You got your hunters and your fishers.
You got to get it. If you got somebody in your life that drinks whiskey, Get them a glass. That's me.
And
buy me a
coffee
glass.
mugs now too for Mother's Day.
Yeah. Good heads up on that. Hey, good plug for cup.
Yeah.
And Black Rifle coffees in there.
Black Rifle coffee. Yep.
All right, we'll keep talking about that. All right, we're going to go that way. We're going to Freedom Plaza once again. We spent a lot of time during this whole season at Freedom Plaza. That was Trump related, and you probably saw us down there. Normally, a lot of it seems to be a place where it's like a skateboard hangout. There's always some kids skateboarding, but you also had it's a place for activism to set up. It's for people to kind of like protest something. So I don't know what it's going to look like today, but we're going to find out. We're going to Freedom Plaza. If you're just now joining us, welcome. We are live here in DC, walking around the city, showing you exactly what it looks like today. And we went by the Capitol. We saw a lot of the fencing still up. I didn't see any barbed wire, but we know from Brooke was telling me that's not the case at other buildings. We see the troops are there. The fencing is there. Now, we don't see the level of troops that we had before. We didn't see that, but so they have been reduced, but I think they still have 1,000.
Yeah, I believe it's at least 1,000.
At least 1,000. You figure you got as much area as you have out here that you got to have, you got to have some relief. You got to have just some shifts there. But anyway, we're walking. We're just one block away from that. Joining me there as well, walking and talking, is Alexandria Lanes. She is an influencer. She's conservative. She's a patriot. She is the family comes from the military. Husband's in the military. Just a great patriotic family. You're going to love her, Brooke. And she's just very witty, very clever. She will have some content out on our network here before too long as we get ready to launch our new. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Thank you. God bless. As we think, God bless you. Nice people here. As we launch our platforms, you'll see all of that. So she'll join us here in a few minutes. But yeah, just a great day here in Washington. Is this seasonably normal? We're sitting at like around overcast skies and 57, 58 degrees.
This is the coolest day we've had in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So you brought the cold back.
I'm cold-hearted like that, Brooke. No, I actually think it's perfect because we were in South Texas and it was 90, Joe, 95, 97, 96, and it was sunny, so it was a little hot. And I thought, you know what, time for a break. So I'm actually enjoying this cool temperatures. Okay, so if we have the footage, guys back in master control of any of the boards up on the buildings, now might be a good time to put that up, because across the street here is a Wells Fargo. And during the election campaign season, oftentimes I would walk by here and it was a roller coaster of putting up boards. They would put them up, they would put them down. They would put them up, and they'd put them down. And then finally one day I said, what are you guys doing? They said, well, we feel like everyone's going to get violent this weekend. Of course, it never happened. And then they'd put them up, and they would take them down. So it's been a yo-yo effect of, boarding up. I don't see anything right now boarded up, which actually makes me feel pretty good that maybe this place is trying to let their guard down a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't seen boarded up. I've just seen closed.
Just closed.
Yeah.
Which is horrible, because I would imagine the amount of business that has moved out of this area has got to be pretty large.
Yeah, everything. I mean, restaurants, boutiques. Even some of the bigger retail stores, the bigger chain stores.
All right, so we'll cross here in a second when it's clear, and then we'll give you an idea what Freedom Plaza looks like now. If I'm not mistaken, what is that building that's to the right of Freedom Plaza? Because it was closed the last time we were here.
With the flags?
Yeah. No, with the flags up.
I think that's a hotel.
It's a hotel of some sort. No, across the street from the Willard. Okay, we can go. I think we can go now. I think we can cross. We cross with the traffic. Here we go. All right, we're going to cross the street here. And anyway, but I don't know what that building was, but it's interesting because there was always a few homeless people that were, camped out in front of that. And from what I understand, I've heard the homeless problem has gotten worse since the administration changeover. I can't. I'm looking for it. I'm gonna tell you if I see that or not. I don't know if I do. But anyway, those buildings over there, the Wells Fargo building was boarded up like a Cat 5 hurricane's coming after it, and I don't see that at this point at all. Those boards, at least from that perspective, have been taken away. We got here's the Freedom Plaza, a lot of stuff going on there. Skateboarding, a lot of skateboarders in this area. Got any ollies? Yeah, I love watching you guys, man. You kidding me? I come out here all the time. There you go. I love it. This is a great place to ride a skateboard. I mean, this is one of those things where, you know, this is it. Yeah. But we spend a lot of time up here during the campaign season. You know, this is where we were. Yeah, check that out, Joe. We know some more of these digital signs going by. SEC and the CCP. I can't read the rest of it. You know, they first took our money and then they took our lives. SEC lied. Okay, well, it's just activism, right?
There, yeah.
But that's what you see here, though. I mean, this is the place where people, you know, they protest, they get their message out, and I think that's the way it should be, right?
Absolutely.
None of us, you know, we're all for free press. We're all for freedom of speech. We're all for, you know, basically letting, you know, the world know what's going on. That's what this country's all about. There's countries that, you know, they don't have near the rights that we do as far as freedom of you know, speech and, you know, freedom of religion and, you know, just the economic opportunities we have here. That's why the immigration is like it is, Brooke, is people want to come here because there's economic development. So let's take a shot down here. Let's see if we can get in the middle. This is always a beautiful shot looking down Pennsylvania Avenue all the way down. We just came from there. Beautiful. And of course you have Trump Tower on the right as well. Fabulous shot. Love it. All right. So now we're here. This doesn't, you know, I got to be honest with you. I thought it would be a little bit more of the activism set up. Maybe it becomes like that on the weekends. I don't know. What have you seen when you drive by here?
I haven't seen any activism, really. I mean, I think the tourists coming back has been a pretty good sign just for the cherry blossoms and whatnot, but I haven't seen many activists at all.
Yeah. Okay, we spent a lot of time at that hotel right there. We're going to walk right by it. That is the Willard Hotel right here in the corner. There's a blue bus parked on the side of it. That is a fairly famous hotel here in D.C. I think every president dating back a long time ago has stayed there, and it's just historic. And we spent a lot of days inside that hotel covering all of the election coverage here, and so we'll walk by that and give you guys a bird's eye view of what that's like. So if we could wrap up our first half of the tour.
I would say hopefully coming back to life. It's a different world, though. We're definitely in different times and different administration, and you kind of see it in the city and the energy. And, you know, we've got to keep fighting and do our part to lift each other back up and keep going.
Yeah. I almost think in a way they allowed the chaos to happen under Trump administration, because it seems like now, nothing. The city seems a lot cleaner than it was. And was that on purpose? Was that to make it seem like, see how much nicer the city is now, that mean orange man gone bad is no longer in office? It's such a beautiful place now. That is almost my first impression, that they allowed a lot of the nonsense to happen on his watch. Yeah. So now that he's no longer in the office, it's like a beautiful place now. It's like, it's unicorns and rainbows and it's paradise now. And I'll give it to him. It is clean. It's very surprising. I thought it would be a trash, to be honest with you.
Nothing like last summer, that's for sure. When all the crazy protests were going on, and the cars were up in flames, and those were peaceful protests, though. So
those were peaceful protests, and of course, the mayor was really worried that these conservatives were going to tear the city up. They're going to just throw rocks and break buildings, and none of it happened, and we know that. There was some conflict, and that's just normal. You see that in Portland. You got conflict in Portland, but anyway. All right, so we're going to continue to walk, but I want to bring in a couple that's going to join us. Come on in. Alexandria Lanes, and I've never met your husband. I'm Brian. John and Alexandria joining us. And of course, we've been talking about her the whole time, how patriotic and how creative. I call you a verbal sniper.
Yeah, it's in my Instagram bio because of you.
Oh, so. Because of me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so far we've walked from the beautiful Capitol all the way down Pennsylvania Avenue. We've kind of shared our thoughts on it. I seem like the city is clean to me. It seems like it's been manicured, but maybe it's because Orange Man Bad is out of office now. So now the mayor actually gives a rat's you-know-what about the city now. So as you made your way here today, what's your thoughts on what you've seen so far?
We didn't really see anything bad. I know there's some like graffiti signs over there as you kind of get closer towards like BLM Plaza and stuff. But for the most part, it seems pretty clean. I was just telling him that it seems very like weird. The energy is just very dark and like empty and kind of like you're walking on eggshells. Like, you know, if you wear an American flag pin, that's.
Am I going to trigger somebody right now? What's funny that because I had a red sweater on in California, a red sweater on, and that triggered people. Just the color red triggered people. First of all, I want to thank you for your service. I know you're in the military. You come from a military family as well.
Yeah, I do. My brother was in the military. He was in the Marines. He did 2 tours in Afghanistan. My husband's active, and I just, it's very close to home. So I love our military. I love all of our men and women in uniform, police officers, Border Patrol, everyone. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to walk. And now, come on, Brooke, let's go. I hope you're planning on hanging out with us today. All right, so this is what we're doing. We'll let Joe lead. He's lead camera here, and he's, you know, hey, we got a little workout group coming this way. Don't really feel like doing that right now. But I do realize that the energy, you guys nailed it. It's just not the vibe. Well, Joe said it. It's going to be a dark, cold winter. So hunker down.
Last time we were here, we were in a sea of red. You know, we were in a sea of MAGA hats and American flags and patriotism, and it was so nice. And now it's just very dark. It's kind of like when you put a nice color filter on something and then you take the filter off and it's all gray. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, that's kind of like my face when I take those filters off on Instagram. It's really nice when it's tan. And it's scary. You take the face off. Yeah, I got a scary face. I'm old and I'm wrinkled. But good point there about that, because it does seem very, it doesn't seem very patriotic at all.
Not at all. Definitely not. Like I said, it's just very gray, and I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. You don't want to say anything that's going to trigger someone. I know BLM Plaza's over there somewhere.
We're going by there. So.
I need my shield, my armor. I'm scared.
You got the shield of Jesus is what you got, the shield of Jesus.
Oh, there you go. I mean, we encountered Antifa right up here back in October. We were staying at the Willard, and we were sitting outside, and Antifa came around the corner and started shooting off fireworks at us as we were.
I remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
You were there
Yeah, that's we were there. The fireworks missed us, thank God, but they.
Staying there too.
Yeah.
Going to walk across here. I'm going to walk in. If you're just now joining us, we are live here in Washington, D.C., taking a tour of the city. And the question is, what the hell's going on in this city? And why the fences here? Why the troops here? Why is this place just so unpatriotic, it seems like? But I will say this. It is clean. It's to the mayor's or whoever was in charge of that, to her credit, someone cleaned this city up. And I'm got to say it. I'm impressed by that. Hey, real quickly, Joe, turn to the left. This is a memorial. I want to say it's a World War II World War I memorial that was under construction for months when we were here during the election, and it looks like they're almost finished with it. I mean, are you familiar with this at all?
No, not at all. I actually haven't seen this at all.
Yeah, it had gigantic barriers up on it, so you couldn't see it. But I want to point that out because that is new here, that we can now see it. So come on down to D.C. and pay tribute to those who served our country in World War I. All right, to our right is the Willard Hotel, a very famous hotel here in D.C. Just about every president has stayed there. You've always got flags here for that. So beautiful hotel. And of course, guys, you saw this during the Christmas season. It was beautiful, right?
Yeah, the Willard is a beautiful hotel. I was just telling John I wanted to stay here again soon because we really enjoyed our stay in October, besides the little debacle that happened out on the street here. But
sorry, I'm dropping my glasses all over the place. Yeah, you are. If you see my glasses, folks, they're horrible. They've got so scratches on it.
Where it happened, we were sitting at at that table right there. And then Antifa came around the corner, right up here on the corner, shot off a firework at that hotel, came around, was throwing glass bottles, anything that they could get their hands on, shot off a firework right in the doorway as we were standing there. I stayed there for a little while because I really didn't think that they were going to do much of anything. I thought they were just going to come here and like scare people, but then they started throwing things and I was like, yeah, I don't want to play with that. I don't want to play with fire, literally, because then they set off a fire down there right near Freedom Plaza, and it was
and it really
crazy.
seemed like it was crazy. And it seemed like, John, it was out of control. And it seemed like a lot of this stuff was enabled. It was like they wanted disruption to happen here because guess what? It was on Trump's watch, and that's what they wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. But it's insane to watch it on the news, but then see it and like interact with it in person, because it's so much different. Because I was actually getting so angry that the news was saying that it was our fault. How could it be our fault? We're sitting trying to enjoy our dinner, and people are trying to start things with us all because we're wearing a hat they don't like, or because we love the country that we live in. It's just crazy. And we're still dealing with it now.
We're still dealing with it now. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's turn around. Let's keep walking. In front of us is the National Treasury, I believe. I think that's where we're going when we take a right. Our apartment was right across the street from there. So this is kind of where we're going, Brooke. This is where all the government buildings really are. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, this is the heart of it all.
Of course, the White House is on the other side of that, and we'll get a better shot of that here in a few minutes. And of course, if we're going to make a right, Joe, if we made a left, you can see the. Let's maybe show them the left. We make a left, you see the monument. Thank you very much. As I'm thinking, it's a beautiful monument, and of course, the Trump speech was right near there, and we had what 100. Do you think we had 1 million people there?
I would say I was watching it on the news. I wasn't there in person. We were supposed to be, but ended up not going. And I'm kind of glad that we didn't because it got kind of crazy. But yeah, there was a lot of people.
Yeah, it was probably the largest gathering that I've seen in a long time. All right, let's get a shot up and down the street. Our apartment was located right to the right. You can see the fencing is still here. Still up. Matter of fact, if I might add, you used to be able to walk through there to the park. You can no longer do that now. You can see that. That's been closed.
Yeah, that's insane.
So the fencing is still here. The barricades are still here.
Borders, but they want to close in these buildings.
Okay, so yeah, let me get this straight. I was down in the border a couple days ago. You could drive 100 Mack trucks through the sides of these borders, but yet we've got a secure border here.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. Secure, open the borders, let anyone come in, but don't let the people go to the people's house. Don't let them enjoy the memorials, the parks, none of that. It's rules for thee, not for me. Let me keep myself safe, but forget about the American people. That's what it's always been for the Democrats.
And I will say they built a lot of this stuff in the middle of the night because our apartment, we would hear the construction going on, and I'd walk out and I'd say, oh, nothing, there's another section of fence that's just been erected in the middle of the night. Well, black Suburbans. I would imagine that's...
Something happened that we don't know about?
Am I not getting that news alert on my phone? But let's say this, though. This is something that you see a lot in this town. I mean, Brooke, you live here in the city. This is common.
It is. It's not a very quiet place anymore.
It's not a quiet place to live.
Man, if you keep dropping these sunglasses, I'm going to...
Oh, my goodness. I need to go to back to... Warby Parker. They're going to love me here when I get back to Texas. That is the Department of Treasury to our left, by the way. That is another building that's, hey, and I'm not sure you can tour that building, but it's nice to look at and admire. But yeah, but there are the fences. I mean, it runs the entire length of this block. And during the election, all of riots, I saw a lot of activity in these streets. There's a lot of Antifa, a lot of Proud Boys. There's a lot of emotion walking up and down.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of activity, especially when we were here back in October. There was Antifa, BLM, and then there was the Proud Boys that came in, swooped in, really just kind of like supervising and making sure no one was getting hurt. But it was crazy. I've never seen that amount of activity. This city is just, I feel like it's just getting worse at this point.
Yeah, it's and God forbid you share your political take on anything, that you're conservative, because like we said before, you're going to be silenced. And I'm going to share later kind of what's happening to us with our signal. We've got 1 million plus followers, and sometimes it's hard for us to get 1,000 people online watching a segment, even though we have 1.5 million. Hey, real quickly, Joe, let's turn to the right. This is Old Ebbitt Grill, one of the very historical restaurant and bar here in D.C. It's the first place that I really came and had something to eat when I first moved this city. A great place. Of course, it was kind of a casualty of the restrictions that they had in place. The indoor dining, places like that got hit hard.
Yeah.
They had to close down.
Yeah, even still, I don't see many people eating inside. Most restaurants have set up outdoor dining on their patio and sidewalks.
Yeah,
so
it's good to see that. It's good to see that restaurants are back open, though. I mean, I was getting really tired of getting stuff to go.
Yeah, no, I love that we can start eating inside. I think it's just a little hypocritical and ironic that we need a mask to get inside, and then we step a couple feet and we can take it off. Doesn't really do much purpose, but
yeah, some of the things I don't understand. Okay, so this is an entryway here to it used to be what?
how you get in to see the White House.
But now you see a
Big giant fence again.
A big giant fence. I will say in this defense, there were some construction going on in the middle, and therefore that's why I think they blocked this entrance off, because they had construction going on. But the press, our entrance for the press was on the other side of this, so our press credentials would get us into here, but that's why that's closed right now.
yeah, that's
I mean, these folks come all this way to go see our beautiful White House, the people's house, and they can't even get in there. So we're all on the sidewalk.
We're on the sidewalk, but it is ironic though, because it's such a barrier. It's like we're the bad guys.
yeah. Your walls are supposed to be to keep, according to them, walls keep people out. So why is this not considered racist?
Very good point. All right, well, let's keep walking. We're going to go by our apartment. We're going to make a left up here and go right by BLM Plaza and then end up right in front of the White House, if we will. All right. A lot of school kids out, looks like, enjoying the spring break. I'm sure that's what you did when you were in school.
What it is, spring break? I graduated in 2013. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I would imagine some kind of group that's out here walking around enjoying the sights of D.C., because it is a very educational tour. I mean, this is obviously a historical city, but it would be nice if you could actually go in some of these buildings and learn.
Yeah, it would be nice if you could actually enjoy the city for what it is. When I think about Washington, D.C., it's patriotic. It's filled with monuments and memorials dedicated to people that served our country, prominent figures, and now that we can't even enjoy these spots because we have someone like Sleepy Joe in office.
Sleepy Joe. By the way, Joe, plant alert to our left. Beautiful, looks like we got some tulips. I don't know, I'm not a horticulturalist or anything like that, but I will say this, it looks beautiful. So whoever's in charge of doing that, you're doing a fantastic job.
You're getting right.
Yeah, so I've said it, I'm going to give credit. I'm going to give credit where it's due. It definitely looks right. Okay, to our right. Oh, hang on, by the way, that bus tour you're seeing right now, that was not going on when we were here.
Oh, really?
That was not going on.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, what are they touring? The graffiti spots or the wall?
Maybe both. Maybe there's selfie opportunities in front of the graffiti and the wall. I don't know.
It doesn't really seem very exciting. I don't know. I would be more.
To our left, we have Antifa set up, and on our right, we have Okay, to our right here is the Woodward Apartments. That's where we had the pleasure of staying for several months here as we were covering all the developments here in D.C. As you can tell, it's got a great location. I mean, right here. But hang on a second. The Cheesecake Factory. Oh, so now they open up a Cheesecake Factory and we move out? That is wrong. Hey, that is straight up wrong. There was nothing here when we lived here. We had to go walk blocks for food.
They knew you were leaving.
They knew I was leaving. That is just wrong. I do love the Cheesecake Factory, by the way. That is a plug, and I'm open to any kind of endorsement from the Cheesecake Factory. Just saying. Just saying. But anyway, so now we're in the corner of 15th and H. Okay, side note, guys, this was not open a couple months ago. Sure, come on. We're live on the air, but go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is James. I'm from Fairfax, Virginia.
Yeah,
but I live in New Hampshire now.
All right. What do you think about DC?
It's changed a lot. Yeah, it's interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel very patriotic here? Do you feel like this city has lost a little bit of its
I don't know, because I haven't spoken to the people around here, but I feel extremely patriotic every time I visit the sites memorials, just over at the tomb of the unknown soldiers, and I couldn't help but all break down in cheers, but I miss the military. So.
And he serves our country as well. I mean, he's patriotic. Yeah, we just love our military. But yeah, let's take that picture real quick. Great to. Hey, we appreciate. Hey, look, honestly, because people like you, we get to do what we do. So I certainly appreciate you.
I'm to the apps, and I love the organizations, and I support everything I can for you guys and everything else that and our beliefs. So.
I appreciate you and what you're doing to help promote us, because it's people like you is why we're here. All right, so let's get that selfie, and we'll make our way down. 1, 2, 3. All right, so you never know. Yeah, good Joe in there, Joe. Hey, you never know. You never know what you're going to get here on a life. Well, have 5 on that, man. God bless you. God bless you. All right. You got to love it. We love our fans at Right Side. That was a solid high five. Yeah.
Solid.
Actually kind of hurt, to be honest with you. It actually stung a little bit.
Do it.
Hey, you know what? That's exactly right. That's how we high five people. We don't pussyfoot around. We're going to hit your hand as hard as we can. Okay, I think we can cross, actually. We cross with the traffic. Just no one's doing it right now. All right, so we are making our way to BLM Plaza. We're going to walk right by it. Now, I will say this was not open, so it's kind of good. It's kind of good that we have the sidewalks open here and we got traffic. That is encouraging. But
sidewalk is closed ahead, though.
It is closed ahead.
Right there.
All right, we're gonna walk in the street, and we're used to doing that too. But so at least it's encouraging that a lot of this stuff is open back up for people to get out and enjoy, which is cool. I mean, that's always a good thing, right?
What?
Open the city up. It's a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. Open it all up. Open up the country. We don't. Why are we acting scared?
Yeah. Why are we being so silly?
I was actually going to ask, because I've been seeing a lot of people with masks on, and I'm almost like, are we supposed to be wearing a mask?
That's a good question. Let's go to our authority over here. I don't know. I know that when we were here, it was mandated. You had to wear it. Now, I don't know if that's the case now. We don't have a mask on, but I encourage everyone, if you want to wear a mask, God bless you, wear it. I'm not going to get into that debate right now, because we'll cross. Well, let's cross and then go over. Okay, I will say this. Back in the day, we used to be able to cross right here alongside. Clearly, that's not the case today, and neither one of us want to get hit by a car, so we may have to play a human game of Frogger. A big fan of the Frogger game here. Okay, let's see if we can jump across after this black car. Let's go for it. All right. So, across the street here is Department of Veterans Affairs, and we have talked numerous times about the support of our men and women who serve our country and how important it is. Well, here is the building, and I don't know if you talk about it. I don't know if you have any dealings with this. I know you don't. Okay.
I will later.
Yeah, well, you will later. It's a beautiful building, and of course, President Trump. Has anybody been more supportive for our military than Trump?
No. I remember back in October, I specifically held a sign saying military families for Trump, because we are supported under him. Under Biden, it's a completely different story, and it almost makes me worried for him and for all of our soldiers in the military now under the leadership that we have, or the lack of leadership that we have.
Let's point this out, Joe. It's your first boarded up building that we've seen. That's interesting. And I see something else that's very interesting, guys. When we cross the street here, let's cross the street and go to the left, because do you know what's missing in front of all these fences right here? All of the vulgar messages that were hung on that fence forever. It was F this, F that, racist this, racist that, hate America. That's all you saw on that fence. It's all gone now, thank God. I'm all for that. But here's my point. Why was that junk allowed to hang up on that wall? Here, let's stop right here, Joe. We're going to go across right here. It makes me sick to think that stuff was up on that fence for as long as it was. Because you walked by, you just saw it was negative.
I don't know if I walked by it back in October, but there was another time I was here.
Yeah. Oh, really? That's interesting to point out. The church here on the corner, I don't know if we can show that. We'll show it across the street. We'll go across the street and shoot across, because I want to get to this other side. Oh, this is a red. We can walk. This is a blinking red. Okay. If we get hit, folks, we're going to get hit live on the air. That's just the way it's going to happen today. I guess that's the way we have to go. All right. So here's a fence. Clean fence. Love to see it. Love to see the clean fence, because before I would rather not see a fence at all. But I will say this. All this area right here was completely littered with really obscene stuff, and we have video that we could show you of that, of all of that. So I don't have anything. So you can see that is not the case now. It's at least cleaned up. Now let's stop here for a second. Turn around and shoot that way if you can. You see but the church, if I'm not mistaken, that is a church that Trump walked out from the White House, which is behind us. We'll give you a shot at that in a second. Came out and held the Bible up and had a moment, but then was criticized for it, said it was nothing but a photo op. Do you guys remember that, right?
Oh, I remember it, absolutely. And I thought it was a great thing that he did. I thought it was nice that we had a president that was faithful and actually lived through his faith, and not just said that he was a Christian or a Catholic, or, but he actually was active in his religion.
Yeah. Father Frank Pavone, that we have, Priest for Life, on our show all the time, talks about how dedicated our president is to his faith and to keeping that in the fabric of how we live our lives in this country. So do you remember that day, Brooke, when he came across?
Yeah, I was in tears watching that moment. And then only a few hours later, it was up in flames. The church was, lit on fire.
Yeah. And now it's boarded up, which is a shame. Why do we need to, oh, look at this guy streaming us. Let's get real quickly. This guy is streaming us as we're watching. That's just, hey, God bless you. Thank you. Yes, sir. I tell you what, it doesn't get any cooler than that, I don't think it does. Okay, so, but I think to myself, why is a church boarded up, though? I don't understand. Okay, we may have to put a little disclaimer what's coming up, because I'm not sure exactly what you're going to hear or what someone's going to do, because it can get a little vocal. No, don't feel uneasy. I will say this: there was a guy out here that was a huge Trump supporter, and he would dance in the intersection in between the stoplights. I think that actually might be him. Well, we're going to find out here in a second. So, everybody, thanks for joining us. We're live right now on Right Side Broadcasting from D.C. as we walk around the city, getting a kind of an idea of what the city looks like right now under the Biden administration. What is the security? What is the situation here at our nation's capital as we are now post-election? I'm starting to figure a lot of stuff out right now. Let's get a shot right here for a second, if you can. Great shot of the White House. And of course, we spent many days just to the right of your picture, covering all the events out of the Trump administration. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful scene right now. Of course, the flowers. I'm not going to pretend to be a horticulturalist now, but it looks beautiful. I absolutely love the landscaping right now. But what I don't like is these fences still. Why do we still have fences up? Why is it still here? There's no threat. There's no credible threat of anything happening, but yet we're all fenced up. It should be the people's house. All right, so let's just keep on. Let's get the traffic director over here. I don't know. I think this gentleman's out here quite a bit, actually. Not really a safe place to be right now, I would say. I don't know if I'd be doing that in the middle of the street, but I'm not him. And
yeah, definitely don't push our limit.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going. Let's keep on going. Yeah. All right, so let's go on the other side of this, and we'll wrap things up as we conclude our trip here in D.C. and kind of give you an idea of what everything looks like. Behind us, great shot of the White House. Beautiful shot. Of course, you got the Washington Memorial right behind it. What a beautiful sight that is. But in closing, let's all kind of come to thoughts here. What needs to happen to stop some of these very destructive policies that the Biden administration is putting in place, because there is some very destructive stuff on the border, immigration. We're talking economic policies, Second Amendment rights. Those are all being really, we're in jeopardy of losing all of that.
Yeah, well, I think it just takes people like us to continuously speak out about it, because as we've seen with big tech censorship, they're doing everything they can to silence us. I always like to say that if you have to silence your opposition, you no longer have a good point, and that's what they're doing. They're silencing us so they can get away with doing these things, with passing these policies and basically putting America the way they want it to be. They want full and total control, and it needs to be people like us that speak out about it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And if you want to follow, let's give everybody your Instagram, because you're amazing. You're going to have more content on with Right Side here shortly when we get our app launched here, and just really days away from that. That content will be on all of our platforms, but the best place for somebody to see right now.
Yeah, Instagram is my most active, at Living Life Like Alex, and Twitter at Real Alex Lanes. Lanes is spelled Lains.
Go. And of course, thanks your husband for your service in our country. God bless you guys. You guys are true patriots. And Brooke, you know, we talked about 9 Line Apparel and just how symbolic, how we could come over here, what a great patriotic company that is. But if people want more information about 9 Line, where they need to go?
Yeah, their Instagram, 9 Line Apparel, and then their website, 9lineapparel.com. Use that code RSBN. 20% off.
Get that 20% off.
Yeah.
And of course, if you want a My Pillow as well, Mike Lindell, same thing. You go to his website, stock up, mypillow.com, put in promo code RSBN at checkout, get up to 66% off on stuff in stock. So go shop for your 9 Line, go shop for your pillows, and really support both these patriotic companies here that are trying to make a difference, because I know that Tyler and the crew are continuously just striving to make more and more. Yeah. Well, Alex, God bless you guys. I cannot wait to see can you give us a preview of your next video and what the topic might be?
Gosh, I don't even know. I think the thing is, with President Silver Alert in office, there's so much to talk about. I don't even know. So that's a little zinger right there for you. If you need a nickname for the president, you just call him President Silver Alert. I'm fumbling over his words all the time. So maybe I'll just do one specifically on him. Maybe I'll do one on the immigration, because the crisis right now that we're seeing, I mean, AOC can do as many lives as she wants on Instagram. She can blame everything else under the sun, talk about climate change, white supremacy, but, you know, you can't put a Band-Aid on something like that, so.
And I love it how she's never challenged by anybody. It's just her one take on, it's a Sophie video.
Yeah, it's like no one can combat what she's saying. She thinks she's right, and that's it, so.
And as always, we appreciate your support. Go to rsbnetwork.com/donate. You can donate and help us do all of this. Programming note, we will be in Tampa next Saturday for a huge Trump boat parade in Tampa. Can't wait for that. And we'll also be in West Palm for a DeSantis re-election campaign kickoff rally. And you never know who might drive by, because someone lives really close to West Palm.
Sounds like a party.
It does sound like a party, and we want you to enjoy us. I'll step aside. I'll leave you with this. There's our White House. Look, folks, it's time for prayers. Until next time, goodbye. God bless. From our nation's capital, we'll see you.